I design and manufacture herb grinders. Today I'm making some titanium 6AL4V grade 5 titanium herb grinders. I'm going to bring these guys along for the ride. Should be a pretty exciting one today. Got a few to make, got 5 or 6 or so to make. Should be good. I want to show you guys the tools, the fixture, how I assemble them, how I laser engrave them. This is probably might even end up being a two-part series. Operation 1, so the first half and then the other half, but I will show you guys and it will all hopefully make sense by the end of this. Stay tuned and I will show you the tools. Get into it. Thanks.
Okay, so what we have, this is the finished product. This is stainless steel. This is the bottom section of the grinder. This is the middle section of the grinder and the top section of the grinder. So we got to go from this raw chunk of titanium to this. And this is what I will show you how to do. These are the billets. So this is the top, the middle and the bottom. So we've got a few to make. This is the piece of solid titanium that I cut it out of this morning. Okay, so what I will do, I'll load these up in the machine. So let's grab these, come over to the machine. So this is the current fixture. So the billets go in like this. So I've machined a pocket in here for the billets to sit in. And then what happens is this is a steel clamp and it's the shape of a wedge. So you can see it's a wedge shape here. And as I tighten this black bit up, it pushes down and exerts force onto the gold aluminium part. So basically what it does is it wedges over and then pushes the billet into this fixture and holds it nice and tight. So you can see as I do it up, this gap here, that'll close. So tightening it up and then it's tight, so you can't get that out. You loosen the screw and then it will come out. Easy. Alright, so what we do that, and then I have a torque wrench here, and then I do these up, all the same tension. So what a torque wrench does is you can set how much force you want to exert on the bolt. So I'll do this up and then it will click when it's at the right force. See that? So I know I'm doing all the bolts up exactly the same tension. If anyone else tries to load this fixture or run this machine, I know everyone is loading it the exact same. No one's overdoing the bolts and then potentially squishing the part or anything like that. Everyone's doing it up tight enough so the parts don't fly out of the machine. Perfect. Okay, I guess let's jump on the computer and I will show you a few different tool paths and then let's get into it.
About that computer thing, that was 2 days ago and it never happened. But we are making good progress here. I've got one left to machine and I want to bring you guys along as promised. I want to show you guys a few of the tools and where we're up to. Yeah, I'm really happy with how these are turning out. Let's flip these guys around and show you. show you what I'm up to. Okay, about that computer thing, that was 2 days ago and it never happened. But we are making good progress here. I've got one left to machine and I want to bring you guys along as promised. I want to show you a few of the tools and where we're up to. Yeah, I'm really happy with how these are turning out. Let's flip these guys around and show you what I'm up to.
So I have machined a heap of titanium grinders, and we have this last one left to go. So pretty much I've done everything I can. We have two operations, so everything we can get from one side, and then we flip it over, and then we do everything else from the other side. So operation one is done. So we need to get from that to this. So we flip it over, and we're going to machine away all this section. We're going to make the post. We're going to cut the fillet on the post. We're going to drop in, and we're going to machine out all the teeth. The bottom section, we are going to pocket all the bottom section out, put these fillets in, drill this hole, do the little relief for the middle section to sit on. It's all happening now, guys. This is the lid. That's going to be flipped over, put in the fixture, and then we're going to machine all the teeth in it. Exciting stuff. All right, we have some custom tools here. These ones are all off the shelf. These are custom made for the Aroma. What we have, I can show you this one. So this tool here, this is a custom drill I've had ground. Hopefully you can make out the two holes in the end of it. Those holes go right through the tool to the end, and that's what I pump coolant through. So I can actually pump the coolant through this tool right to the very tip, and it helps bring the swarf out of the hole and lubricate the end of the drill so it doesn't snap. Because titanium is super hard to drill, super gummy, and it just wants to grab tools and break. So that tool, if I get you in the right frame, might be easier if I show you on a finished part actually. So we have these holes, where are you? These holes here, and this drill actually comes in. Wow, I'm making this look difficult. Maybe I can put it, there we go, that's better. Okay, so that tool comes in, drills, and then puts that final little chamfer on the hole as well. It needs to be so small because it gets right up close to this edge here. You just won't get to see this today because I've already drilled them all, unfortunately. This is another custom tool that I've had ground, and this one comes along and it does the grooves. So it machines out these grooves here. It machines the grooves in the lid as well. I've just got this one sitting on here. So yeah, this one does all the grooves, spins and machines out all the grooves. I have this tiny little chamfer tool. This one actually comes in and it goes in these holes and does a tiny little tool path and makes sure there's no bits of swarf, no bits of metal on the holes. Just very slightly touches them and machines any swarf away. We have these tools. So this is, I guess, essentially a drill bit, but it can go sideways through the material. So it'll come in and it'll start turning around and machining out this profile. What are we on here? We're on a lid. So it's going to come in and start machining out all this away to reveal the teeth. We have smaller ones for when it gets a bit tighter. On the bottom section here, or the middle section, sorry, it gets real tight, so I need a real small tool to get in between here to give us plenty of clearance. This is a little slitting saw. This goes, sorry, I end up locking my phone then. So this is a slitting saw. This goes on an arbor, so a tool that goes in and holds it. And this is what comes in, where are we? This comes in and slots out the bottom here. I'm gonna drop it. Spins and cuts out this groove here, which you will see very shortly. This is another tool. This one's for the side of the lid. So this one, instead of a square end, it's got a radius. So this one is the one that goes in and cuts the whole profile. One pass goes around and then cuts this little fillet, cuts this flat bit, and we know what does the grooves now. This bit on top is a chamfer tool, so that's this one here, and that comes along and puts that nice edge break so there's no sharp corners anywhere. Alright, I think that's enough chatting from me, and let's cut some chips. So I'll grab one of these, we'll grab all of these, throw them in the machine. So where we left off, we were working on this side. So these are stainless steel ones. These are titanium. They look very similar. I think the titanium is slightly duller. So this goes in this machine pocket perfectly, so it locates it. Grab the other two parts, the bottom and the middle. So the middle goes in this pocket. The bottom goes in this pocket. I'm sure you are all familiar with this by now. We get our trusty Allen key. Tighten them up. And then we grab our torque wrench again. Okay, I don't want to bore you with this, so we'll come back when I've done this and when we're ready to cut it. Okay, parts are in, parts are tight. We shut our door. You can't do anything on these machines unless the door is shut. The glass is pretty clean, I think we're right. So we hit play. It's all pre-programmed. I've been running these all day, so it's all good. Grabs the first tool out. I might just stop it and show you this tool actually. So this tool here is a 20mm tool. It's quite a gnarly tool. It goes really quick, but only goes really fast through the part, but only a shallow depth of cut, and it knocks all the top off just to a known height, because these could be any height coming off the machine and they're raw, so it just knocks it down a little bit, all of these billets to a known height, and then we can bring in the next tool and bring a nice clean cut over it. So let's do that. Shut the door again, lock the door, hit the go button, so it spins up, comes over, and just knocks the top off. Does a few passes. I don't know if you can hear me, I hope you can hear me. Alright, let's give you a look at that, eh? So you can see it's just skim the top, left a really bad finish, but that's fine because we're going to clean it up next. It'll do the other two first. I'll give you a look at that. So what it's doing, it's slowly working down and machining all this material away, and you'll start to see it sort of take shape. So you can see the post starting to reveal itself. So it's going down 0.3 of a millimeter every time. So we're at 22 millimeters from the bottom of the part. 22. 21.7. Okay, we're nearly done. Last couple of passes. I promise we're nearly done. Okay, last pass or so. Alright. Give these a look. So you can see the part is starting to take shape. It looks really bad. That's just how this tool works. It's really rough, really aggressive, but it's really stable, lasts a fair while, and gives me no problems. Alright, so we're just going to knock the top down off the lid, off the bottom, sorry. This one starts a little bit higher, just in case someone loads the wrong part in the fixture. Alright, here we go. Okay. Fun fact for you is titanium swarf, titanium swarf is really soft. It doesn't cut you, you can grab it. It's really strange stuff. You think it would be super hard, but it's not. It's quite strange stuff. Anyway, moving on. I guess what I should do is show you this. So check out that finish at the moment. We're going to run a face cutter, so a cutter that sweeps across the part in one big cut and gives us this sort of finish. Show you that. So the machine automatically goes and selects the right tool, brings it out. Pretty nifty. So it's doing a pass over that top piece. So you can see the coolant comes through the tool. The coolant actually comes out of these holes here. So this tool takes these inserts, rather than paying for a whole tool every time it wears out, you only need to replace these little bits, these little inserts. Let me show you the inserts. Not that one, this one. So these are made from carbide, which is super tough. And it goes in and sort of wipes the top. It's called a face insert. And this is a face facing tool. So big tool, one big pass. I guess you probably want to see the part, see what it actually did. Beautiful. All right. Next tool, little 6mm tool. That's going to come in, like I said, it's going to start coming in, carving out all the teeth. Oh, that's a big stretch. Got it. So the coolant comes out through the tool, through those holes in the tool, what I showed you before. Okay. So slow and steady wins the race with titanium and these tools. It's going 0.6 every time. So every time it engages the material, it goes another 0.6 until it gets where it wants to go. You can sort of see the swarf, the titanium swarf running down the pallet there. I'll film again when there's something to actually see. So this is a little bit boring. Winston. Still going very slowly. Can't see. I think you can slowly maybe see it take shape. Hopefully you can see that. Super hard to see anything through the coolant. Okay, let's have a look at that. Beautiful. So you can see it's done as much as it can. It can't get between these. Sorry, the coolant is dripping everywhere. So we call it roughing the part out. So it's basically, it's gone everywhere it can and left a little bit of material on the floor and a little bit on the sides. So then we bring in another tool, a nice sharp tool, to just clean up and take a tiny little cut and bring everything to the right size so everything works. Looking good. So the next tool path, it's going to start cutting out this outer shape here into this section here. So this tool will come around here and start roughing out that for the bottom. So I'm trying to do the stretcher thing. And we're off. Alright, beauty. Moving on. The next tool path is a fan. Check this out. So the fan cleans off all the coolant and all the swarf, so I can bring the probe in, so I can measure where the parts are exactly in the machine. So when I do these tiny little chamfers to make them not sharp, they're not out. So there's not a big chamfer on one side and a little one on the other, or anything like that. So let's show you the probe. Here's the probe. So it's got what you call a stylus on the end of it, with a ruby tip on it. And then it's going to come in and measure the part. So it goes and touches against the part in 3 spots. And then the machine knows where the center of that part is exactly, so we don't make bad parts. So if the fixture ever sort of bruises or the part's not sitting in quite the same as the last part that was in there, this accounts for that. And then it'll go away, and then we're going to get the next tool out. So this tool now comes in and finishes that part, that little groove, this little groove here. Let me zoom this back out. So the tool in there now is just going around the part and finishing that little groove. Okay, so now that outer groove is done, this is a good time to check the fit. So I'll get a part that's already been made, make sure there's a little bit of slop in it, and the middle section is actually going to go on it. Alright, moving on. So what we're going to do now is actually chamfer this part. So we're going to do a little edge break on this part. So when I go to machine out the pocket, the part flexes ever so slightly. So we do all the chamfering now, so it's perfect for when I release it and it all goes back to where it was. Hopefully this is making some kind of sense to you guys. So it's just running along. It's putting that little chamfer on that little edge. Okay. So you can see there's now a chamfer along the edge. Hopefully you can see that. So it's not sharp like this one. Next tool is going to be the other tool that comes in and machines between the teeth. It just gets everywhere that the bigger tool couldn't. Nice little tool there. This is a pretty quick one, this one. So now what it does, it goes back there and touches the tool to make sure it hasn't broken. If it hasn't broken, it will continue on. I'm making the machine stop every time just so I can show you guys. Normally it just keeps going on. Does not stop unless I tell it to. So now you can see the part is really starting to take shape. So the floor looks really bad because we haven't finished it yet. So each of these little marks is a mark from where the tool came in and started started machining into the part. So you can see by the marks there, it doesn't move over much every time, only 0.6 of a millimeter. Okay, so now the next tool is going to clean up the floor. So take a good look at that. And then we're going to run the next tool, a nice sharp tool, and take a little cut over the floor. So this is going to go in between all the teeth. Right, it's between all the teeth, run around the floor and just sort of nick every little bit, just kiss all the surfaces and make them beautiful. We'll be back. I think someone's pretty keen to go home. Making sure the tool hasn't snapped. Alright, let's check it out. So that tool, instead of sort of coming in and taking little goes at it, it's just went right around the part, walked around all the teeth and left just that nice floor finish. Okay, moving on. Now we're going to throw some little chamfers in case there's any little dags on it. We're going to run around and just kiss the top of all the teeth, break all those sharp edges. There's that little tiny chamfer tool. Okay, I lied, it's going to do the bottom one first, and then we're going to come back over to the top one. So now it's doing this chamfer on this section, that little one, not this top one, this one, the next one down. That little edge break, so it's not sharp. You can run your fingers on it and not cut yourself. Okay, you can see it starting to take shape. So we've chamfered here, little edge break, and then edge break here. We've finished the teeth. Now what we're going to do is start working on the middle section. It's looking pretty average at the moment. Let's do something about that and finish it off. So we're going to bring the big tool out for starters. And we're just going to ramp in a little bit. Okay. I promise it's going to get better. Stick with me. So the next thing we do while we've got this big tool out is we actually ramp down into the lid and remove as much material as we can. Let me show you that as well. Alright, here we go. So this tool is ramping as far down as it can go without hitting the sides. Just removing all that bulk material so we can bring in the finishing tools and make it look pretty. Alright, next tool is this one. This one's going to come in and clean the top of the teeth up on the middle bit. So it leaves a nice finish on the top. So we got that nice finish on top. Alright, let's just do it. Can't really see much. Maybe if I just pulse the coolant. Okay, so that tool just came along, but here it machined the top of the post, and then it came in here and gave us a nice finish on the top of the teeth. Moving on. Okay, next tool is this one. And this goes along and puts the chamfers on the inner teeth. I don't know if you can quite see them. So those chamfers, they are what guide the lid onto the post. It's going to be a bit hard to see, but the chamfers, without those chamfers, the lid would just get stuck. So that allows, you might be able to see from here. So the chamfers are on there. So it's sort of a guide that helps it slide onto the post. So you can see they're all very straight at the moment, no chamfers. This tool is going to add them. A lot of green button pushing going on tonight. Voila. So while this tool is still out, we do the chamfer on the top of the post. Let's see that happen. Hope this is not boring us. If it is, definitely let me know in the comments. So it's just walked around the top of the post. Nice and quick tool path, that one. Let the coolant stop dripping. Alright, one nice sexy chamfered post. Now we're going to chamfer all the top of these teeth. Let me show you why. So just in case, see this tiny little tiny little burrs. This next tool just comes along and just touches the top of the teeth and gets rid of all them. So you can see it just walks along all the teeth. Very hard to see. Alright, this end mill here, this is the tool that comes along and cleans up the bottom. So where this groove, this fillet stops, and where this one starts, it machines that bottom section. I will show you. Turn this one up to get it moving again. It's not much to see here. I think I will show you once it's finished. Stay tuned. Okay, let me get rid of this little bit. Where are you? Okay, so as you can see, that floor is now minto. Nice floor finish. So now we're going to bring in the next tool that comes and does the walls. So it's going to do this little radius here and the radius there. It's pretty hard to see being so shiny. But anyway, let's show you that. I'll show you the tool first. Get it close. Okay. So this tool here is a full ball, so it's a radius, and that's going to ramp in down these walls, slowly ramp down, and then ramp down this one as well to leave that nice fillet on the bottom. There's not much to see, guys. Making sure the tool hasn't broken. Alright, let's check it out. Hell yeah. Perfect. Alright, now we're going to drill the hole for the magnet. Okay, this is the drill. It's a carbide drill, it's through coolant, so the coolant comes out the bottom. Let me show you. If I lock the door, it should turn the coolant on. Yep. So you can see the coolant, hopefully you can see the coolant blasting out of that tool. Let me show you how it works. Okay. You're not going to be able to see much. So it's drilling that hole, pushing the swarf out with the coolant. Very nice. We now have a hole in the bottom. Yay! Now we're going to chamfer it, so edge break, make sure it's not sharp. So chamfer tool. So this, it does a few different tool paths here. So what it did then, it just done this chamfer on the post. Now it's doing the chamfers, it's doing this chamfer, and then it's doing the chamfers on there as well. Just doing the outer chamfer now. So let's put a nice chamfer on the inside, chamfer's there. Now that bottom bit is all done as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to slot the post and then start finishing the post and then start working on the teeth on the middle section. Okay, this is the slitting saw. So this is the insert I showed you earlier. And that's bolted to the shank. So that's going to come and slot the bottom of this post out. This is a pretty delicate tool, this one, so I need to run it super slow in titanium. Done. Alright, we now have a groove, a slot. So now we can go and finish the actual post to the right side. Okay, what that tool did was clean up the post. So that's brought this post to the perfect final dimension. It's added the fillets. So now we have a filleted post, we have a chamfered post, and we have the slot underneath the post. So all I do now is grab a few bearings and make sure they fit like that. So I want them to slide on with minimal fuss, slide off again with minimal fuss. They all need to do the same thing. They can't rock too much. So the idea is the middle bit doesn't rock, only the actual bearing does. Perfect. Alright, let's start machining the teeth out. We're nearly there, guys. Nearly there. Okay. So this tool here is going to start dropping in and start roughing all the teeth out. So sort of what we did here, but now it can't start from the outside, it needs to ramp in and then machine them from within. Can't see a thing. Doesn't look super flash, but I promise you it is going to. So that tool was a 6mm tool. It can only do so much. It can only fit sort of where it's gone. So next we bring out a smaller tool and that'll machine the rest away. Alright, smaller tool. That's just machining out what that previous tool couldn't get to. Bit of a slow process with this tool. It's a very delicate thing hung out that far and such a small diameter. But it's going well. So see this code, how it's got X and Y's through it? See where it roughly X 14, Y minus 20? So these machines work if you've got a 0 here and this is X and that's Y. So if we go X 20, we'll just come over X 20 and then Y 20 puts us up here. And then if we want to do an arc, we can go Y 19, 18, 17, 16, 15 and sort of work back to 0. So I could go X 100, Y minus 20, and it puts us down here. So it's basically just plotting coordinates, and every little spot is where the machine is going. If that makes any sense. Probably not. While that's doing that, I'll give you a bit of a rundown on the machine. So this is a Akuma machining center. It's a Japanese machine. It's really a really premium machine. So it has a table. So the spindle, the cutting tool goes up and down. This big black thing goes up and down. And then the table, what my fixture's sitting on, that goes forwards. That's it. So the spindle actually goes up and down, left and right, and then the table only moves back and forwards. And then you load all the tools up. All the tools go in the side here. So every one of these tools is in here to make the grinders. So that's the fan, that's the end mill, that's our little chamfer tool, that's our little custom slitting saw, that's our little slot that goes on the post. Heap of tools in there. So we load it up with the tools, we cut our part, all the swarf, all the chips and everything all fling around and hit the sides and everything, hit the window, and then they go down, they end up pulling down onto that screw there. And that screw, that runs right through to the back of the machine, and I will show you where that leads to. So this is the side, heap of tools. This is where we assemble the tools. We've got a heap of precision ground space and things to lift parts up. This is actually the conveyor. That's the machine there. This is the conveyor. So this is what's pulling all the swarf out. All this is all titanium swarf just from the grinders. Nearly filled that whole bin up. Just sneak through around the back here. You can see this is the coolant tank. So this is where all the coolant stores, and this is the pumps that are pumping it into the machine now. And then if we look back here, these are those screws. So there's a screw there, and then a screw there. So that's pulling all the chips onto this conveyor, and that's pulling it all through, up here, all the way up through here, and dumps into the bin here, and then we recycle it. Heap of titanium. And then we have another machine down the end there, and another machine here. This is a few of our tools. So a big end mill for aluminium, a little smaller face cutter. There's a big drill, so that'll go in the machine and drill straight down And then a really big face cutter, smaller face cutter, heap of different tools here. That's a tap for doing threads. We got more tools in here. Lots of stuff. These are just chamfer tools. Chamfer tools to take inserts. Lots of cool stuff in here. This is an adjustable chamfer tool, so you can dial in whatever angle you want. Pretty cool. Just in case you've missed Kevin, he's still here. So we're doing a different job here on Kevin, making a heap of these blocks. This is the machine that we were previously making the grinders on, automatic door. So you can see we've got a heap of vices in here doing this job at the moment. All ready to go for the boys in the morning. Keep it running. And this is where we are tonight. This is still machining the inside of the grinder, by the way. Shouldn't be too much longer and then we can finish the floor. Here's a job that's just come through. It's a heap of spanners. We need to put chamfers on them so they're not sharp. So we're in the middle of designing a fixture at the moment, so we can machine this shape into the fixture and have that drop into it. Then we can have a metal stop on one side, and then there's these little clamps. So these can go in, and then when you bolt the clamps down, it sort of clamps down onto the part and grips it. They grip on the side. That's probably a better way to show you. So once it's up here or pocketed down into the fixture, it'll just clamp, rotates over and just holds the part. These are the clamps I'm using at the moment for the Aroma-3s. They're machinable clamps, so you can sort of put the part there and machine the shape of the part, and then it exerts force into the part and holds it perfectly. Alright. There's all swarf stuck underneath it. That's what all the bits are in the bottom of the holes there. But we are starting to take shape. Starting to look like a Aroma-3, guys. Yeah. Alright, so now we bring out that sharp tool again, and we just go around it and clean all the floor up, all the teeth, throw some chamfers on it, and we are done. Stay tuned. So it's just going to grab the tool out, do the old flick around. Oh, that wasn't in focus. Anyway, so now we're going to clean the floor up. Okay, so now the floor is all cleaned up. One thing I'll show you. So see on the bottom of these, no you cannot see. Alright, so see that little bit, there's that tiny little bit, that little bit. We have a tool coming in that's going to just touch all these holes and put little chamfers on them to get rid of any micro burrs. So that's all we got left, is to chamfer the top of these teeth and then these holes, and then see if all of our hard work is worth it. Take it out and make sure it fits. Alright, chamfer tool, which you can't see. Oh, there we go. Right. So now it's just going around chamfering all the teeth. splashing coolant on it. Okay, that was this chamfer tool. Now we bring out an even smaller one and do the bottom of the holes. Okay guys, we are done. Let me just blow all the coolant off and let's check it out. See the swarf that got built up under it? That's just all the swarf that falls through the holes while we're machining it. Really nice. So we grab these. We'll give them a wash and give them a blow off, which I can't do one-handed. There we go. Okay, it's definitely 8 o'clock at night here. I need to get out of here. I think stay tuned. I'll do another video for you. I just want to explain a few things. Hang on, let me flip this. Okay, so as I was saying, I want to talk about a few different things on the next episode, next video. I've got some peak bearings, peaks in engineering plastic that we machine here. It's a really high-end, super abrasion resistant, self-lubricating material. It's sort of like a wonder material. So I've got bearings being made to my specs, my standards, so real tight tolerances on the outside and inside, so they slip in and on the post very nicely, and they have very little rocking. But I'll go into detail on the next video. I want to talk about the magnets. I've found some weaker magnets for the top. I think that will help people a lot that are struggling to get the lids off. I now offer them with no magnet at all in the lid as well. So I need to do a video explaining the differences with that. The differences with NTN bearings versus the better bearings versus the peak bearings versus ceramic bearings. Yeah, just a bit of an update and a video on how I assemble these things and color them, because we will anodize one. And because I didn't stuff any of these up, I will have one to give away. So stay tuned and I will run a giveaway for one of these titanium grinders. Should be pretty exciting, just to give a little bit back to you guys for supporting me so much through the last 6 months. It's been a massive effort, but it's been very rewarding. Yeah, it's very late here now. It's about 9 o'clock at night. I need to get out of here and do it all again tomorrow. Thank you guys. Stay tuned for the next episode of Grind Time with Ben. Yeah, stay tuned, and I'll go home and splice this video together for you and get this one up as soon as I can.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed, hope you all learnt something. I definitely did. Machining titanium grade 5. It's really exotic material, and I enjoy it. It's definitely not the easiest to machine, but it's very rewarding. I feel that it makes a very premium product. Alright, thanks again guys. I will catch you in the next one. Ciao.